All right, so I am here with Charles Reiser. Charles, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. NRA 2024, huh? It's a racket, huh?
Well, it's different.
Yeah.
I think it's been a couple of years since I've been here. And I was here during one of the last COVID ones. So foot traffic is a lot higher.
Yeah.
Which
I would say so, right?
Yeah.
So let's first take a step back. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself,
Sure.
what you do, why are you at this show to begin with?
I don't have a job title. I
Okay.
work for Blue Ribbon Restaurants.
Okay. Based out of the New York area.
New York City. Yeah. We have places in LA, Las Vegas, Miami, Boston.
Very good food. If you guys,
Thank you.
if you listeners are out there and you want to get some really good fish,
I'm a big fan of sushi myself.
Absolutely.
I never ate sushi before I worked for Blue Ribbon.
Well, you cut your teeth on the best, so
I like to think so.
yeah.
I'm essentially sort of a catch-all. I gave myself the job title of the IT guy, or the guy
Very
in
official.
charge of IT
Very
stuff.
official.
Yeah.
Very official. Love it.
So, do a little bit of everything for the company.
Yeah. So that obviously is what brings you to NRA, right? So how many NRAs have you attended, throughout your career?
About 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did the math, and this is my 10th.
All
So
right.
I'm right
We're
up there,
catching up.
right up there with you, right up there with you. So really the point of what I'm trying to get across here is, there's 30,000 people that come to the show, but not that there's way more people in the restaurant industry, right? Like, so for people who aren't able to come to the show, can you kind of just give an idea of like what is this show all about? Like, what do you see here? What's the energy? What's the vibe? What's it like?
Yeah, I mean, the vibe is you're finding people that you wouldn't probably get introduced on a natural sort of basis.
Right.
You're wandering around. You're whether it's organized or disorganized. For me, it tends to be a little disorganized.
How can it be? I mean, this show is massive. I mean, if you're not in Chicago right now, it's McCormick Place, which is one of the largest convention centers in the country, and it's all three halls of the convention center are just jam-packed with vendors.
Yeah,
so even if you go into with an organization with a game plan, you're gonna get pulled. You're going to get pulled into a conversation you didn't expect, that you didn't know, and you're going to see people that you didn't even know to go look for, right?
Yeah, you meet people that you're not necessarily looking for their product or a product like what they're offering, and you wind up being like, hey, this is, and I've brought several things back to Blue Ribbon that have been a direct,
impact.
Result of me,
right.
Just wandering off path and,
It's always really cool. I mean, so being on the vendor side, right? There's a lot of conversations that happen, right? We cycle through. We'll walk away with thousands of conversations having been had throughout the week. But what's really cool is for me as a vendor to be able to go, and there's the startup alley, right? So there's an area just right, maybe 100 feet away, where it's all these startups, right? And so one of the cool things is, I remember, like I said, I mentioned it was my 10th show. So maybe like 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago, I was walking with the CEO of CBS, Art Julian. We were walking around. We went to Startup Alley, and I was like, Art, you've got to go check out this startup. I think this startup's going to be pretty big. And he's like, all right, let's go look at it. It was a company called DoorDash, and they were just hitting the scene. They were like pre-funding, or maybe they had just gotten like a round A. And he's like, it's a cool concept. I kind of get it. I kind of understand. And it was DoorDash, right? It is the DoorDash that we all know and use on a probably weekly basis today, right? So it's really cool to see companies like that start here, right? You're getting impact. You're getting visibility into tens of thousands of people, and then eventually some of them turn into the grand oak trees that have guided the restaurant industry in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, moved everything forward in a different way. I mean, that's, you hate to say it, but COVID was actually a benefit to the restaurant business. It pushed us in a direction that no one would have gone. I mean, I don't think the delivery services would be the companies they are today if it wasn't for that event.
I agree. I mean, you and I mean, we've known each other for several years now.
Probably close to the 10 that you've been showing
probably.
up here. Yeah.
And we talked about it all the time. it was an industry that was grossly underserved by technology.
Yeah.
And then COVID kind of pushed the evolution that the industry had been resisting, right?
Yes.
But then they had to adapt to survive, and here we are on the other side, and it's hugely beneficial, and we're decades beyond where we were, right? In 4 short years.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that occurred for Blue Ribbon was, when COVID occurred, it was like, okay, we're getting all these digital orders. How do we integrate them to the POS? And it's like there were so few solutions for that. Now you walk around, there's like a dozen here at the show.
So let me ask you about that. So you do have, dozens of people that are popping up, businesses being spun up, businesses being spun down, businesses being acquired, merged. Yeah. How do you keep it straight, right? So you are the, self-appointed IT guy, all things IT for Blue Ribbon, right? How do you go into a show like this and say, this is a legitimate solution. I want to further engage this brand to learn more.
It's kind of a tough one because I'm working with people who are not necessarily, don't see technology as important to the business. They see service as being number one.
Of course, right. Right. It's a high touch brand, right? It's
This is very
all
hands-on.
about the experience.
It's about the individual that's waiting on your table, less so about, hey, I can find you on DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub.
Sure.
Although we do have a restaurant that half its business occurs from delivery services.
I'm sure as many people that are listening to this,
they're probably
there.
saying the same
right.
thing.
Much to their chagrin in some cases.
But a lot of the restaurants, it maybe makes up 20% of the sales.
Right.
But for the ones that are, it's important. It's like trying to, you're fishing. You gotta have your idea ahead of time. This is what I need to accomplish. This is how it's going to integrate. These are my goals for getting these orders from there to there, and eventually you find someone.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? Is really being structured with your needs, right? Understanding where the gaps are, and being honest about those gaps, right? Are you operationalizing something, right? Are you manually doing something that could be easily automated by something that's going to cost you like $30 a month?
Yes.
Right? And how much time is it taking you to I don't know, like audit your P&L, right? When you could do, you could run a script and just have it be done like automatically, and it'll take 10 seconds, and then you have the 2 hours back that it normally would have taken.
Yeah. One of the things I've actually, and what you just said kind of brought this up. One of the things that I like about the show is that I can actually go to vendors I already work with.
Yep.
And talk to them. And I actually spoke to a vendor yesterday about a problem I have, and I didn't know who I was talking to, and I went directly to their software developer.
There you go. You want to get something done. There you go.
I told him about a technical issue. I said, does it happen often? No, it doesn't. But, it happens often enough that the restaurant staff gets enraged when it happens. It seriously affects their business. And, he listened to me, and I think I'm going to get a feature developed out of this that will benefit them. And
and how great is it? Because like, how long would it have taken you to get up the ladder enough to get him on a phone call? Right? You're talking a week from now, 2 weeks from now. I got to reschedule. Something came up. I'm on vacation. Blah, blah, blah. It takes you 6 months to get to the right person. It gets you, and then next thing you know, it's like a year later and nothing's moved.
Yeah.
You can go have that conversation with 3 different vendors that you use today, right, in the same room. That's what I love about just trade shows in general, right? Is that I can go. I'm on the partnership side, right, and so I can go have these conversations and avoid the out of office and busy and impacted and another show and this.
And then there's the filters, when you're calling the company and saying, this is what I want, you got to get through the first person.
Right.
And you have to get them to understand that, this is a problem and you need to fix it. So you're fighting that. Here you get that opportunity to kind of jump around that and talk directly to. And
you get access to, like, our CEO is standing like 10 feet away, right? And how often would you? Sure, he's available. He's going to hop on a call just about any time.
Well, your CEO is helpful because he lives in my neighborhood.
That's true. That's true too. Yeah, you can go knock on his door and say, "Hey, man." So let's talk about this. And you guys are up in New York, right? And so it could be it could be like there might be a little more attitude in it, right?
Exactly.
A little bit of that New York attitude. Well, great. So I think it's been really, really good catching up with you. I think it's been a great show for us. It's been a good show so far for you.
So far, yes. Yeah.
Good.
Still a lot to go.
Of course,
So-
yeah. Well, there's a lot to explore. So
Yep.
I will not hold you back from going to explore some
All
more.
right.
But Charles Reiser, it's a pleasure chatting with you. Blue Ribbon Sushi, if you are within some of the metros that they're in, I encourage you highly to go check them out. That's absolutely delicious. Charles,
Right.
thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right.